Here are the horoscopes for the week of the 8th to the 14th of December 2014. We begin the week coming out of a full moon, the full moon in Gemini. And the Sun is still next to Mercury, so we had the Sun and Mercury opposite the moon. But the Sun remains next to Mercury in Sagittarius on Monday. And this has a magical aspect to it. Mercury almost has antennae that can feel into the thought fields and the memory fields. And the Sun and Mercury together in classical astrology is said to be confusing because the Sun is burning out Mercury's communication and rational and logical power. But on a more soulful level, I find this quite exciting. It's a chance to be still, to tune into different thought forms, to not rely on the rational so much, a bit like a mini Mercury retrograde. But also there's a feeling of messages coming through because it's so close to this full moon. So once we stop and listen a while, we can actually receive. So can you tune into the hidden realms? Can you actually allow magic to pervade your world at the beginning of this week, rather than the rushing, the logic, the planning and the communication and the action, because this is what the full moon was teaching us, and also Monday with that continuation. There's another aspect as well, which is Jupiter is slowing down, ready to go retrograde on Tuesday. Now Jupiter spends a good 6 to 8 months direct and retrograde each time, so he will be retrograde until April next year. Now when a planet goes retro, this is appearing to go backwards according to our perspective on Earth, not actually going backwards but just the other planets overtaking. Then this takes that energy more into the yin, the magnetic. So when Jupiter's taking inwards on a magnetic level, then we're looking at the expansion of our inner selves, because Jupiter represents expansion. Currently touring Leo for a once in a 12-year cycle. Then we're looking at the heart and the solar plexus as well. So expanding those centres inside, going back and finding your majesty. It's a very sovereign feeling with Jupiter, going in and lighting up your own cells. It's a bit like an early visit from Santa, really. You're kind of getting this gift of presence all the way through your body, from the big jovial Jupiter, taking it inwards, relighting your fire, and finding that kind of sustenance within. Magnanimous, generous, but maybe just a bit of gratitude as well. Maybe go on a bit of a retrospective, just because everything's so outward and reaching and consumerism. What are you actually grateful for on the simple planes? Being alive would be a good start. Breath, kindness, things like that. So I feel that we can go on a nice gentle retrospective until April, with Jupiter in Leo lighting up ourselves from within and reconnecting us to what's truly magnanimous and magnificent. So those two aspects working together, the sense of pervading magic with the Sun and Mercury, and then that inward journey with the King himself, then we're starting to kind of find our inner glory and realise that there's a lot more going on than in the 5% sense realms. By the time we get to Wednesday, because it's quite a busy week, we have Venus going into Capricorn, and this is a yearly event roughly, and Venus in Capricorn has an air of quality and dignity and elegance. So this will actually be very good for Christmas shopping. There should be some beautiful decisions made. There's a sense of value and worth for something that lasts and something that's been done well. There's a sense of doing things well and valuing our own skills, taking our time and actually creating something of lasting beauty. So it's a slower aspect, but Venus in Capricorn says slow down, do it properly, do it with love, do it with value, and do it as something that will last into the future. So good few weeks there over the holiday period with Venus in Capricorn showing us our values and our deep love. By Thursday we have the moon meeting Jupiter, which is a once a month affair, and this again lights up all of that inner solar fire. So another day to be grateful and another day to just expand from the inside out on a soul level. And then we have some tension building for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, as we have 6th out of 7th Uranus square Pluto. Now, I've spoken about this before, but Pluto breaks down the old and Uranus makes room and invents the new. So these are supposed to be square. There's a series of 5 years, 7 squares, which have been going on since 2012, which is out with the old and in with the new. So if you feel tense, if you feel rebellion, you can see all these street protests go on at this time. They're really ramped up around the world. They're played with politically as well. You know, this energy is actually picked up and played with on people's emotions. But you can see a lot of street activity. It's hard to say more than ever because there's a lot anyway at the moment. But this is going to get tense. There'll be some tensions around from Friday through next week as the old corrupt system falling is grasping at any straw to try and stop the new consciousness coming in. So for anyone out there that is aware of the news and does tend to get caught up in posts on Facebook and everything, consider that that's a waste of your energy in a way, that where your energy should be going is to the new, the inventive and the visionary. And all of this distraction and all of this pulling you out of yourself is possibly done intentionally to steal that energy. So can you remain a little bit more rebellious yourself on a true rebel level, which is no, I'm going to believe, I'm going to vision, I'm going to actually send out frequencies of my view of how things should be and not get caught up in the corrupt and the decaying. So pretty strong one this time, as we can see. It's already happening in the news, but this could happen on a personal level as well. Watch out where tensions from what's old that can't sustain is fighting its last breath with what's new and needs to be changed. So sudden changes, possible tensions, possible arguments, but again, just look to that, keep the vision, keep the purity, and maybe even make it simpler as well, because Pluto in Capricorn has built up a lot of sedentary consumerism, material wealth and greed, that kind of thing. So it's taking a long time to break it down because it's very much on the physical realm politically. And then Uranus in Aries just wants to blast all that like an electric bolt and actually create some space. So those are the energies for this week, and I'll see you next week. Talking of things of worth that last into the future, just a quick reminder that I have short and long readings and online modules available with gift vouchers as presents for people, because the winter solstice is when the sun is reborn, and this is when we start to climb up in our strength up that mountain to the summer solstice. So hopefully a reading or a course is the kind of gift of presence that can take somebody on a journey way past the festive period and help them make that ascent. So that's the origin of Christmas presents, and if you would like to gift somebody a reading or one of my courses, available on Skype all over the world, then please do contact me, zoehines7@gmail.com.